مرحبا والسلام عليكم. هذا هو الفصل السادس. This is chapter 6, which is about Arabic, Al-Arabiya. And this is for all of you who are new to the language, and if you're looking for ways to become exposed to the language, then I have a few fun steps for you. So this is not about becoming completely fluent, and it's a tough language to learn, alright? So disregard any comments about how bad your pronunciation is, how hard it is to understand you. My pronunciation is pretty bad as well, and you know what? I don't care, alright? So encourage other people to learn more of the language instead of discouraging them that their accent's pretty bad, because the more of us that can learn Arabic, the better, I think. So moving along, I have a list in front of me here of 12 steps that I live by in terms of learning a language, and I cover 12 chapters in the book that I've just released, and I always plug it at the beginning. This is Do You Speak English? Chapter 6 is in the book as Arabic, in fact. So what I'll do is I'll run through 12 of the steps in terms of how to make Arabic fun. Alright, so how to actually become more exposed in the language. Starting with Wahid al-Alam al-Arabi, which is the Arabic speaking world, Arab world in fact. So Arabic is spoken all across North Africa and a lot of the Middle East. In fact, all of the Arabic countries are connected, in fact. So you could go from Mauritania, Morocco, all the way over to Iraq, all the way down to Yemen. And if my geography serves me correctly, I believe all of the countries are connected, with the exception of maybe Somalia and Comoros, which is further down Africa. But it's important to become exposed in the geography of the language. Where is it spoken? Now, this language is not just about Egypt. So it's an important step one. Learn where it is spoken. So that's the first step. On my blog will be a list of each step. Step number 2, Itnan al-Medina, the city. So the city where the language is spoken. Now, in this case, I've chosen Cairo, Qahira, which is the most typical example of an Arabic-speaking city. And on YouTube, it's good to have a look at where the language is spoken in a city, and just have a look around. This doesn't have to involve any talking at all on a YouTube clip. It's just important to become exposed in where it is spoken. So that's step 2. Now what we do is we go a little bit closer, and we come to number 3, Thalatha, which is al-Souk. Okay, so the souk, or market rather, if we say it in English. Now, in this case, I've chosen a market in Damascus. The name of the market is Al-Souk Bizuria, fi Dimashq, in Damascus. And just to have a look around, just to see a bit of written Arabic. And again, don't worry if you don't understand everything. It's just to get exposed, okay? It's to become immersed into how the language is written. So that's step 3, the written language, is getting a feel of what the language looks like. Okay, on to number 4, Arba al-Television. So TV in Arabic is a great way to see how people behave, how people react with each other. Now, what I suggest is to try and watch it without the subtitles. I know that sounds crazy, because you need some sort of guide as to what people are saying. Don't worry, this is about getting a feel as to words. You'll pick these words up little by little, but it's fairly important to try and do it without the subtitles for this one. Okay, so that's number 4. Moving along, Khamsa is about food. Okay, Ta'am. I've chosen Lebanese cuisine because it's amazing, Lebanese cuisine, and it's probably the most famous cuisine in the Arab world. So check out the clip. It's great to see how people eat in the language that is spoken, and it's mouth-watering, isn't it? So if you can get past step number 5, then next one, number 6, Sitta, is al-matbakh, which is the kitchen. All right, so being inside a kitchen and seeing how something is made, and in this case, I've chosen something fairly typical, which is couscous, or sometimes called al-couscousi in Arabic, which is from North Africa, all right, but it's fairly common. We've all heard of couscous before. So this follows a recipe as to how couscous is made. Okay, on to the next one, sabah. Al-musica, the music in language is very important. Now, in this case, when you go to a YouTube clip, perhaps it's better to type in this word here. It should be that way, isn't it? Remember, Arabic is written the other way. Al-Aghani. So that means music with words in it, because what you'll need to do for this one is to go to the lyrics to see how the words are sung. Now, my taste in Arabic music is a little weird in terms of what most people in this part of the world would listen to. I love a lot of very modern contemporary music, usually a lot of urban stuff that comes out of places like Morocco. In this case, I've chosen a hip-hop band called Fez City Club. Again, choose your own style. Rai, which is a very popular form of Arabic music in Algeria, is popular, as is a lot of music out of Lebanon and Egypt. But that's a fun thing to do. Listen to the music to learn the language. Next step, Themenia, al-Riyada, which is the sport. Okay, so the sport of the language is important. Like a lot of the world, the Middle East is very much into football, particularly in the Gulf countries. So what I've chosen is a match in the Gulf. But then, of course, wherever Arabic is spoken, football is very, very popular. So that's number 8. It's getting involved in the sport, which is culture, is it not? You know, that's how you learn a language. Okay, the next one, Tisa, film. Now, film is very popular in the Arabic-speaking world, especially in Egypt. Now, Cairo, or Qahira, is the Hollywood of the Arabic-speaking world, but a lot of Arabic-speaking movies come out of Lebanon and a few other parts of the world, Saudi Arabia, for example. But Egypt is by far the most popular. All right, so quickly moving along. Number 10, Ashara, is Anas, which is people. All right, so people are important for learning the language, particularly native speakers. And like always, I recommend that you go to Skype. Have a look at my list of websites there where you can find language exchange partners who you can then hook up with on Skype, arrange a time to speak, and they're the ones that speak the language fluently, unlike me. All right, so I would suggest number 10 as a very good way to learn the language. Okay, moving along, we're up to number 11 now, Hada Ashara, which is Amila, and that means work. Now I've chosen, working in a place like Dubai, or in this case you'd say Dubai in Arabic. Okay, so in Dubai, or fi Dubai, is a popular place for working, not only for Arabic-speaking people but for the rest of the world. All right, check that one out. Number 12, Ithnain Ashara, Aloha, which is relationships. Now, seeing how people interact with each other in this language is very important. I've chosen the Arab Spring in Tunisia. Fairly controversial, but I think it's important to learn how people communicate with each other. Now, I'm nearly out of time. I have to speak so quickly in some of these clips. All right, now, what I suggest is Ersel Alayri Selet Al Talik Mifadlik. Okay, so if you can please send me a message, and the next clip will be in Russian. So, shukran jazilan, and mal salama.